If you're working a job that you absolutely hate, I want you to watch this video. I'm going to share with you what I've done over the last 4 years to not have to do and to follow the traditional method of employment, and how I've been able to sustain myself, how I make money, and how people who are in this creator economy are making money so that they don't have to work jobs that they hate anymore. And so that's interesting to you. Please watch this video all the way to the end. I decided to do something different. I'm sitting here on the floor of my office because I want to talk to you. I want to just share with you my thoughts. I want to share with you what's worked for me, what I would have done differently over the last 4 years, and how you can take the things I did right and use them in your life to replace your job income. And so the first thing that I did while I was still working a job, I began journaling. I began journaling about what were some ideas of what I could do to replace my job income. Now, the first thing that helped me kind of transition out of it was I started looking for gig work. And some of the gig work that I've done like over the last 5 years has been Instacart, has been DoorDash, it's been Lyft, it's also been Uber Eats. I think those are the main gig apps that I did. Though the one that I was, or the two that I was making the most consistent money with and had the biggest amount of income with were Instacart and driving for Uber. With Instacart, what I really didn't like about it was that if you declined orders, then your rate went down, and if you passed a certain threshold of how many orders you declined, then you could actually get your account banned, which happened to me. I think it was like 15%. The reason why I was declining the orders is because they didn't make sense to take. It would be like I would have to drive for like 20 miles to make $10. And then I would have to go into the store and to shop a particular order that could be a lot of items. And it just was, not only causing wear and tear on my vehicle, but it was also causing wear and tear on my body. It seemed like the orders my account was attracting would be people who like lived in like apartment buildings, who ordered like 3 and 4 cases of water. Again, remember when I quit my job was the end of 2020, and so some of these items were like more scarce. People were still like living under like kind of like COVID like situations, and so some people just didn't want to go to the store anymore, and they were having you to do their busy work. And so I kind of switched over to Uber, and that was a little bit easier. Again, I got to do what I like to do. I love talking to people, which is why I'm making this video. I'm trying to pretend that I'm speaking to one of my friends and just sharing with them what I did. And so Uber was cool. Every single day I got to meet new people. I got to speak into their life. I got to, give them advice. I got to listen and get advice. It was an awesome time. It met a need in my life, not just monetarily, because I was able to essentially with Uber cash out and get paid every single day. But another need that it met was it gave me variety. Every single day I was going to new places. Every single day I was meeting new people, having different types of conversations. Some people loved the conversations. Some people just wanted me to drive and just focus on that. But nevertheless, it appealed to a natural human need that we all have, which is the need for variety. And so what I want to share with you is, if you're trying to get out of your job, the thing that you want to think about most are your own personal hierarchy of needs, Or like what are the needs that you need accomplished most in your life? Okay? And so there's different needs that we all have that if they're not met, we will feel unsatisfied or unfulfilled. And probably the reason why you're looking to get out of your job right now is because some of these needs are not being met or not being fulfilled, or what's a priority type of need for you is not being met. Okay. And so some of the needs that we have as humans, number one is significance. We want to feel important. We want to feel recognized. We want to feel like we're a part of something, that we belong. Another need that we have is certainty. This is a big need. Again, if we are not sure about something, then it causes us to have fear. It causes us to have anxiety. And so part of the certainty that you may need in your life right now is knowing how much you're going to get paid every single month. And this is why most people who are in a job right now, they stick with the job that they're at, even though it feels like it's sucking away your life. It's because the job gives you certainty. You know, every single 2 weeks you're going to get paid a certain amount of money. And I think if those two things are your biggest needs, then you are going to have a tough time transitioning out of your 9 to 5, because when you're starting something new, when you're venturing out to make money for yourself, there's going to be a time where you're going to feel insignificant. You're going to still not feel like you're being seen. Or you might get in a situation like myself where you're doing Uber and it's allowing you to feel some type of significance because you get to meet all these new and different people. But that starts to be something you hold attachment to, that your other needs are not being met, that you're not actually living out your purpose, right? And so some other needs that we need to have filled in our life is growth. Even though I was having fun with Uber, I was having variety in my life. At the end of the day, I was simply just driving a car. It wasn't causing me to grow. And the job that you're at right now, it might be not causing you to grow. And so that's a need that we need met. Love is another need. I think one of the reasons why some people, stay at jobs longer than they need to is because this need of love is not being fulfilled in other areas of their life. Maybe your coworkers love you more than your girlfriend does. Maybe your coworkers love you, or it seems that way, than your spouse does. Maybe you're getting love from your job in a way that you're not getting that need fulfilled in other areas of your life, and this is why you're staying in a place that you know is no longer serving you. Another need that we have, as I mentioned earlier, is variety. We need things to be mixed up. We need things to change. We need to see different things. We need to be around different people. Variety, they say, is the spice of life. And so these are some of the needs that we need met. Love, variety, growth, significance, certainty. These are some of the major needs. And so think about the needs that you need in your life. Order them to which ones are the most important to you. And these are going to be like what's going to help you decide what type of career or what type of opportunities as it pertains to maybe starting a business, or maybe as it pertains to be a freelancer or a side hustler. Understanding which of these needs is the most important to you. And so if you have a need to be significant, then maybe possibly social media would be like a good outlet for you to escape your 9 to 5 job, because it allows you to be able to be seen by other people. You can create a community. You can do what I'm doing right now at this moment. You can provide value to other people, and those things can give you significance. So whatever your needs are, make a list of what your needs to be met. The second thing, that after you know what your needs are that you need to be met, I want you to think about how much income do you need to replace from your 9 to 5 job. And I wrote all these things down. I started making a map of this in my mind, what I was going to have to do to be able to launch out and not having a job. And so let's just say that It's $4,000 per month. That's like the average salary for most Americans. So we're just going to use that number. The cool thing about when you quit your job and you start understanding that you're not bound by time, that you don't have to work 8 hours a day specifically to make the $4,000 per month, your mind starts to shift and understand that if you're not bound by time, you don't have to break the $4,000 down hour by hour, right? You're no longer getting paid a set hourly amount. You can make the $4,000 in 1 hour. You can make the $4,000 in 1 day. So it's going to start to tailor the opportunities that you could actually step into to make this transition as seamless as humanly possible. Now, I want you to think and to consider this one particular thing. For me, I know that I had certain skills, certain gifts. I thought I love to talk. I love to communicate with people. Again, that was one of the reasons why I loved Uber. And so for me, YouTube became that platform where I could actually talk to people at scale. I could talk to thousands, if not millions of people. And so on my main YouTube channel, I've grown that channel to over 22,000+ subscribers over the last 2 years. And most of those subscribers, like almost 14,000 of them, were in like the last 12 months. And it just came from me just trying to learn as much as humanly possible, just how to have a conversation with this phone or this camera, right? I'm using my iPhone to record this video. And so I just began to practice. I started putting content out on a semi-regular basis. And one of the things that started happening for me as I showed up for people, as I tried to come from a place where I was giving first, giving them value, giving something that they could learn, giving something that they could do, implement in their life to make their life better, then a small percentage of those people started reaching out to me to see how I could help them with a specific problem in their life. Also, a small percentage of people just wanted to help me to continue the journey. And so people would, send me money to my Cash App to keep going. People would send me money to my PayPal, my Venmo, to keep going. There was something that I said that made their tomorrow feel brighter. And then I was able to define a particular type of program that I wanted to create. And I launched a particular program that was designed to help people discover more opportunities, more income streams that they can make, because I was testing all these side hustles. I was testing all these opportunities to make money online, and I was just sharing with them what was working for me. And so I think that if you start to look at your life right now as kind of like an experiment, that as you transition out of your job, that for the next 24 hours a day, you get to experiment, you get to play around. There's 4 particular pillars or categories that I think most people who end up making this a full-time career, they take advantage of. One is coding. So maybe you could build an app. There's a lot of tools right now that allow you, even if you don't have a lot of technical knowledge, of how you can code an app without any coding skills now. So maybe you want to create an application. Maybe you see that there's a problem that's going on in your life that could be automated, that could be solved with an app or with a piece of software. And so that's one area. The next area is media. Is there any particular content, any particular problems that people are having? And sometimes people are having, as we saw this other day when TikTok went down, people have their problem is that they need something to soothe their soul. And so they're looking for content that's going to entertain them, put their mind to sleep, so that their soul can be soothed. And so, are you funny? Can you tell a compelling story? Can you make content? Can you just report the news? There's a man who lived like 50 plus years ago. His name was Napoleon Hill. He wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. Um, and he wasn't necessarily rich himself when he wrote the book. He went around the world interviewing like the 500 richest people, and he asked them, what they did to get rich, and he studied them. I believe it was like 24 years that he studied them, and he started writing this book. But now we start to see on social media today that there's people who are doing the same thing, except they're not waiting 24 years to do it. They're just like walking up to strangers in particular nice neighborhoods and asking them like, hey, what did you do to get wealthy? I think School of Hard Knocks is a great channel, a great example of that. The guy who created that channel, I think he's like 22 years old, and he just goes to some of the nicest neighborhoods in the world, and he just asks these very affluent people, what did they do to make their millions? And people are probably because of his youth, and now because they recognize him from social media, they freely share all of their secrets. They just give it away because, again, one of the things I've learned is that some of the most successful people in the world are very generous, and that's how they got there, is from being generous, from giving. And so one thing that can help you to get out of your job faster is just thinking about what can you give away, what can you give of yourself as a service for free, and out of that service maybe something that's born that you can find a way to charge people money for it. But think about how you can give it away to as many people as humanly possible first. Let them experience what it is that you could do for them, how you could help them, how you could solve a problem in their life, and then people will gladly pay you for helping them implement what it is that you just help them with as far as their problem is concerned. I hope that makes sense. So the other two pillars before I close this video. So we talked about coding, we talked about media, so creating content. Maybe you're a person who creates the next World Star Hip Hop. World Star Hip Hop was one of my favorite websites when I was coming up as a kid, a teenager, 19 years old. It was created by this guy named Q, rest in peace. And they posted videos of what was going on in the hood, what was happening with celebrities, what was happening all over the world. People were, sending in videos of what was going on. I'm sure maybe you've been on World Star before. You heard someone yell out World Star. Somebody's about to get in a fight. But this was a place where we gathered as a community, where we would just learn about what was going on, where we saw the latest music videos, where we got some of the latest celebrity interviews. And the team at World Star themselves, they didn't create a lot of the content, but they did create a platform where people could distribute the content that they were creating. And so maybe you want to think about how you can do the same thing in your own way, related to something that you actually care about, something that you're passionate about. So we have code, we have media. The next thing that we have is like labor, right? Like, can you find something that other people are willing to pay for, that you could possibly pay somebody less to do it, and they would do it for you? Let me give you an example. So let's just say that you find out that there are people who have call centers who are willing to pay agents $25 per month, or I'm sorry, $25 per hour to make certain calls, right, on their behalf. They don't care how the calls happen, how the calls get done. They just need people to do those calls. It's probably what some of you guys are used to getting paid right now. Maybe when you work at a call center, you work at customer service, they're paying you, or either they're paying a company called a BPO company, a business process outsourcing company, to do the calls for them. They're paying your hourly fee to do that. Maybe you could find somebody who's in a country like Colombia, in a country like Mexico, a country like the Philippines, where the monetary value is lower, and you can have them to do the calls for you for maybe, let's say, $5 an hour or $7 an hour, where it would be a great salary for them, but it would be too little for you to be able to make a lot of money on. However, all you would be doing is capturing the spread in between, right? So if the company is paying you $25 per hour to make these calls, you're paying somebody $7 per hour. So you're making $18 an hour every time you have an agent making these calls on your behalf. And that's how you like leverage labor. So we have code, we have media, we have labor. And then the last way that we really leverage money or leverage things to actually create more money is like by leveraging money to make money, right? We invest in things. We take the money that we do have and we invest in things. And so again, if you're at your job, maybe you've been investing in your 401k, maybe you've been putting money aside in an IRA or something, some type of vehicle to make more money. And this is the time where you take that money that you've been investing, that you've been putting aside for such a time as this, and you put that money into action. You deploy it into some type of vehicle that's going to make you more money. And so these are the ways that we do it. Those are the 4 things that you can do to get out of your job. I think this video is going to give you some ideas of what you can think about, how you can kind of connect the dots of what to do next. I'll be making more videos like this. Let me know at all if this video was as helpful. But basically what I did was what I was good at. I started making media, made these YouTube videos. Now I have 2 channels. By the end of this year, I will have like 10 channels. Some of the channels I won't be making the content for. I'm going to leverage labor. I'm going to leverage media by having other people create the content for me, by me paying them a specific dollar per hour amount for them to make the content for me. And every single hour, YouTube will be paying me for the views that we generate. And so that's how I'm going to be leveraging moving forward. And on this channel, what I'm going to be doing continuously is documenting my process from basically starting over to $100,000+ per month by December 12th, 2025. And so if that's what you want to see, if you want to follow me on this journey, I recommend that you subscribe to the channel, like this video if you haven't already, and I'll see you at $100,000 per month. God bless.